Hey guys, welcome to another Lost Ark video. In today's video, I thought we could continue the series discussing different ways to progress and empower your characters. And this time, we will be discussing skill runes. In our last video, we talked about skill points and how they make you more powerful by allowing you to place more points into abilities, unlocking their higher tier bonus abilities in your tripod system. Well, this takes that one step further, and in some cases can not only make a spell much more powerful, but it can also change how it works completely. These skill runes are not as powerful as your tripod bonuses, but in order to optimize your character and make them as powerful as they can be, you will need to have these. So, how do these work? Well, every skill can be augmented using a skill rune, except of course your awakening skill. So let's look at how we augment our spells and abilities with these runes. After you've collected a skill rune, it will appear in the window on the right side of your combat skill tab. To apply them to your skill, first you select the skill you want to augment with a rune. Choose the skill rune you wish to socket from the right side of the screen. Then press apply. Be sure to hit the save button, and then that's it. The rune is now applied to the skill. You can equip 8 skills with runes, and yes, you can equip multiple skill runes of the same type to different skills, but you have to have collected extra copies of that rune, because once it's used, it's used. When you have collected these skill runes, you will have access to them on all of your characters on your account, much like the card system, and using one on a skill on this character has no effect on using it on my alt. It will be available for him to use as well. So what are the types of skill runes that are available for you to collect? The first rune we will look at is Overwhelm. This rune increases stagger damage by 5, 10, 20, and 30% depending on the rune quality. This rune is best used on skills with a high stagger damage rate, and used in situations where you will be facing bosses, because it will greatly increase the skill's stagger damage potential. The next rune we will look at is Rage. This rune will give you a chance to gain 8, 12, or 16% attack speed and movement speed for 6 seconds when the skill is used that it is attached to. This rune is best used to enhance attack skills with short cooldowns. This will help make it proc much more frequently. And the next rune we will look at is Bleed. Applying the Bleed rune to a skill makes it inflict a bleeding dot for 4, 5, or 6 seconds, depending on the quality of the rune. This rune is best used on a skill with a high uptime, and its effect will refresh with each hit on the creatures you are attacking, so you will want it hitting them as frequently as possible. The next rune we will be looking at is Galewind. The Galewind rune increases your skill cast speed by 5, 8, 12, or 14%, depending on the quality of the rune. Galewind is useful on skills with longer cast times. This will increase your casting speed, ultimately leading to more damage because of more skill cast potential. And the next rune, Quick Recharge. Using Quick Recharge on a skill will give that skill a chance to reduce all cooldowns by 8, 10, and 12% when the skill is used. This rune, of course, should be used on the final skill of your rotation, because the cooldown reduction applies to all skills currently on cooldown, which will speed up your whole rotation, increasing your damage potential substantially. And our next rune, Purify. Purify, when used on a skill, will give that skill a chance to remove a debuff when the skill is used. The Purify rune should be used on skills with very short cooldowns, ideally instant cast spells or abilities, in order for it to proc more frequently, but it is mainly only useful if you are doing boss encounters with extremely frequent debuffs. And the next rune we will be looking at is Iron Wall. Iron Wall will make the skill that you have attached it to reduce all damage taken by 5, 8, and 16% while casting the skill. Iron Wall is a very useful defensive rune if you are in a high intensity encounter and have abilities you need to use with long cast times. The Protection rune will also work for this same purpose, depending on whether you need defense or more HP, because the Protection rune will give you a 5, 8, or 12% bonus to your max health as a shield while casting the skill that you've attached it to. And the next rune we will look at is probably one of the most important, and this rune is Wealth. The Wealth rune increases your identity gauge by 10, 20, 30, or 40% on hit, depending on the quality of the rune you are using. This rune is all about generating identity meter resource, so you will want to use it on skills that offer the most identity meter resource on cast to fill your meter much faster. And next up is the Focus rune. The Focus rune reduces the mana consumption of skills by 10, 20, 30, and 40% depending on the quality of the rune. This rune will reduce the amount of mana a spell will cost to cast that you have attached it to, so you will want to use it on abilities with a very high cast cost. The next runes we will look at work together and you will need them both. The Conviction and Judgment runes are unique in that they do not do much of anything alone. In order to use them properly, you will need to use them together. How this works is simple. You will want to attach them to skills that hit multiple targets that you will cast in succession. This will increase the chance that they will activate. When they do activate, you will receive a buff, giving you a cooldown reduction across the board and double your combat resource recovery. So they are very powerful, but remember, you will need them both. So now that you know what they are used for, you will be wondering, okay, how do I get them? Well, some will be easier than others, and these runes come in different rarities, much like everything else. So the higher rarity ones will be more difficult to acquire. Normally in my guides, I would now list all of the various ways you can get these runes. But Lost Ark is unique in that it has a built-in tool called the Codex, where you simply type in the item you are looking for and it will tell you where to get it. So I recommend using this tool to find the rune you are after, because many of the runes have multiple locations where you can acquire them. However, one rune that I will tell you how to get is the Overwhelm rune. This rune is available from the merchant Bara on Anguish Isle Island for 3600 Crimson Thread. You acquire this thread both by doing the daily quest here and from running the instance that you will receive a key for by also doing the daily quest. This rune is very easy to acquire because it says you require 1100 gear score for this island, but that is only to run the instance. You can come here at tier 2 and do the daily, which will give you 150 thread. It will also give you a key. You won't be able to use the key yet though, so just save these for later. But the 150 thread will go into your account currency tab. So doing it on a few alts will make this process of getting 3600 much faster. So guys, I hope now you see the importance of the skill runes, and maybe have a little more understanding on how to use them and on what skills to use them. If you have any more questions about them, or are having trouble finding a specific rune, feel free to ask in the comments, or join our community Discord, where I, along with many others, are always around to answer your questions. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.